chose Chelsea above other academies because I saw you were with Southampton for a little bit and Portsmouth. How did you sort of make that decision? Was it just a case you wanted to be at the highest level possible?
Yeah, it was tough to turn Portsmouth down because my home club, and obviously Southampton wasn't as tough. Even though they was a really good academy, it was, I think, an easy decision to maybe not choose them, as I am a Pompey boy and a Pompey fan. But yeah, when you go into there, the boys are top players. But then when you go to Chelsea, it's a totally different level. The boys are so much better. Like the training was like a year in advance of the other two academies. So it was a tough decision. Obviously, it's in London and you have to have that travel a lot. But it was the best decision because the amount of experience and throughout the time I was in the academy, you learn so much, and the boys are so much, the competition is so much higher.
And sort of your development as well, like you chose Vitesse as your first step. How sort of did that develop you, and you scored a lot of goals in that season, like how good was that for you?
It was, I think, the best decision I made at that time. I had a season of 23s football, played mostly every game, and for me at that time, I needed to move on. I didn't need to play another year of 23s, it wouldn't have helped me. So obviously it was a massive decision to move out to Holland, being 18 and move to a different country on my own. It was a tough decision, but looking back at it now, it's the best decision because I learned so much from being out there, the experience I gained, playing with different players, playing a different type of football, the Europa League games, and I think that was my first start in the team. We played away in Belgium, I think it was, that was the first game. And I played well and I kept my place. And then we played at the Stadio Olimpico, and that was an unbelievable stadium. Since then I've played in stadiums like that, but never played in a stadium like that. And it was obviously like a wow factor. In these other countries, you have that different type of football where you can learn, and what you see with Jadon in Germany, how well he's done out there. He's playing a lot of games, and that's what you need. I think as a young player, you need game time to keep improving and to thrive in that position. So I think, yeah, he's obviously made the decision to go there, and it was a brave decision, and look what he's doing now.
So you've had like Chelsea, Derby, Vitesse. What type of football do you like to play? What do you enjoy? What gets you excited?
Attacking football. In a game where maybe I'm getting in touch with the ball and trying to affect the game.
Why do you score so many goals? Is it your technique? Is it your ability to make late runs into the box? What do you sort of look at, and have you looked at Frank as that sort of example?
Yeah, 100%. Throughout my career being at Chelsea and being a midfielder and trying to score goals as a midfielder, you always look at Frank Lampard as a role model. But I think for me, there's a bit of luck in it as well, about if the ball's falling to you in the box and how many shots you're going to have in the game.
What sort of other midfielders did you look at growing up?
I looked at Modric when he was in the Premier League with Tottenham. Being a young boy, watching games in the Premier League, he was definitely one that I watched. Iniesta, from Barcelona, at that prime when they're playing their football, the tiki-taka, always watching them on YouTube and obviously their games as well. So I think them two were a big part of when I'm growing up, looking at them as role models as well.
Is that part of the game you looked at, the sort of technical side, to sort of give you an edge?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I was always very small. Not till probably about a couple of years ago, I had a little growth spurt and I got a bit bigger. But yeah, as I've said before in interviews, when you're that small player growing up, you learn about how to get around the bigger players, how to use your body, and I think growing up through the academy and being the small one, you get that technical side of the game as well you're learning from. And then when you do get a bit bigger, you also have that ability when you're playing against bigger players and you know what to do. And yeah, I think that's what I've definitely gained throughout the academy and growing up, that you have to learn that different side of the game. You take from every coach, and I have to say thank you to all them coaches because they turned me into the player I am now. My dad always said to me that every training session you need to train your best and train like it's your last session. because the competition, there's boys coming in from other countries, and you always got to stay that one step ahead if you want to stay there and if you want to be the best.